things I did for a successful VBAC. The first and most important tip that I can give you is to educate yourself. Do your research, watch videos, do everything that you need to do so you can learn about the topic. And this will help you so much when you're in labor, because there's some times that you're gonna have to learn how to advocate for yourself. That includes learning if you are even a good candidate to try a TOLAC, which is a trial of labor after a C-section. So what that means is that you need to wait at least 18 months before getting pregnant in order for your wound to heal and then be a potential candidate for a VBAC. The second thing, and I cannot stress this enough, find a good support system. Find your community, find your team, do your research. What I recommend is joining a Facebook group or follow Instagram pages, TikTok pages that talk about the topic. This will help you build that confidence and just knowledge about the topic. One of my favorite resources that I used was YouTube. I would watch a lot of YouTube videos, and there's this lady that I really liked her videos. For some reason, I felt like I was very scared this second time that I was doing a VBAC. I'm not sure why, because I had already had one, but I was super scared for whatever reason it was. And a working mama, like her videos, honestly, like I feel like they just gave me the confidence that I needed. So feel free to check out her videos. I am gonna add her handle right here at the bottom, a working mama, her YouTube videos. Like I said, for me, I felt like this second time around, those videos were the ones that just gave me that boost that I needed. Additionally, to building your support system, that includes finding a practitioner that's willing to try a TOLAC on you. Not all practitioners are VBAC friendly or TOLAC friendly, so you're gonna have to do your research and find one that is willing to try to help you with the labor that you want. Another thing that I did for a successful VBAC was try to maintain a healthy weight, and this includes eating a healthy diet. I know some health conditions are out of our control, but maintaining a healthy weight and a healthy diet will boost the chances of you getting a successful VBAC. Next, I want to talk about exercise. Make sure that you're exercising. For me, I wouldn't really do a lot of like heavy exercises, but I would walk a lot. I would walk like 2 to 3 times a day. I would try to get at least 10,000 steps a day. This will help you tremendously, not only during your labor, but it will also help you get back to your pre-baby weight faster. This includes lots of stretching as well. I recommend doing prenatal yoga if you can. This will help you stretch your pelvis, and it will also help you during labor. Another thing that I did that I don't know if you want to do, I'm not sure if you're religious, but it's pray. I was honestly so scared for this labor. I'm not sure why, but I cannot stress to you how much I prayed. I was just so scared. I honestly thought like I was gonna die there. I even told my husband on multiple occasions, I just have a bad feeling. I'm so scared. I was so terrified. I don't know, maybe because I have already 2 baby girls here, or I had 2 baby girls here at home, but I was just so scared and so terrified. So I would pray a lot. Pray to whatever you believe. If you believe in the universe, pray to the universe, or just wake up that spirituality in yourself, because you never know what's gonna happen. Giving birth is not an easy task, and it's not a walk in the park. I always felt that after praying, I just felt more calm and more confident. I felt like this would just make me feel more secured about myself and just kind of like leaving it up to God. The next thing, don't be close to the idea of having another C-section. This is a plan that you want to achieve. However, sometimes things happen, and everyone's health is different. Not because I was able to achieve 2 VBACs means that you are going to. A lot of factors come into play when you are laboring, so please just don't be close to the idea that you are not gonna get a C-section, because as much as you want to avoid it, sometimes your health and your babies comes first. And whether you're planning to have an epidural or not, once again, don't be close to the idea. My first VBAC, I had an epidural. I was not close to the idea because I was just so terrified that my uterus was gonna rupture. So if anything, I used that as a preventative tool. That way I could be ready in case that would happen. I would be ready to be transferred to the OR. The second time around, I was lucky enough to be able to have the birth that I wanted, the unmedicated birth that I always wanted. But you just have to be open to the idea that it may go like that, or it may just go differently. One big thing that I do not recommend you getting, and try to advocate for yourself, And this is what I meant by you need to educate yourself so you can advocate for yourself, because it happened to me. Pitocin. I declined getting the Pitocin the first time I was having my V, or I was trying for my Vbac, because based on what I've read, based on the information that I've been reading, Pitocin is not good, and I was just terrified of even trying getting induced with the Pitocin. They wanted to add some Pitocin to my IV, and I just refused. I refused because I've actually read that a lot of times the Pitocin, I'm not a doctor, please keep that in mind. I'm not a doctor, this is just my experience and what I decided to do. I've read that Pitocin could actually cause the uterine rupture because the contractions are so strong that your uterus just can't handle it. And keep in mind that this is a VBAC. You're trying for a TOLAC, meaning that you already had a C-section. You have a scar. So for me, I just refused, and I told them straight up. I was like, I'd rather you do a C-section on me all over again than get induced and or get Pitocin and then get my uterus rupture. So 1111, make a wish. So that's what I'm saying. Do your research, because there's times that you're gonna have to learn how to advocate yourself. And I am one to always be like shy about speaking up, but for this one time, I don't know if God gave me the strength, the knowledge, the courage, but I just said no. And luckily the nurse that came after, because this nurse, it was a bad experience with, there were like two young nurses, but then luckily like God heard, because I was so lost. I was like, what the heck am I doing here? God heard my prayings, and then I got like a really good nurse. I didn't get to use the Pitocin. I had my first Vbac, medicated, but I had my first Vbac, and it was just over the moon. I was so happy this nurse came along. My next advice is labor at home as much as you can. I'm gonna tell you why. I actually went to the hospital too early. I was like at 3, barely. I thought I was already like laboring for a long time, and I thought I was ready to give birth. Not really, but I thought I was gonna get admitted. So I didn't end up getting admitted. I was sent home. It's fine, because I was like, if I'm gonna be laboring here, laying down on a bed, which once again, based on the research that I've done, it hurts more when you're laboring on a bed or laying down. So I was like, no, I'd rather be walking. Because I was a TOLAC, they wouldn't let me get up. So I had to be laying down, and I was against that. Luckily, they didn't admit me, thank God. So they sent me back home. I came and I labored all night here, overnight. By 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I went to the hospital, and yeah, I mean, I was ready to give birth. Luckily, my water was not broken yet, so I felt at ease. A lot of complications do occur once your water breaks. And the reason is because once the water breaks, your baby could potentially go into distress. Once again, I had done my research. So since my baby was still in the water bag, I was not concerned. I was like, God willing, my baby is safe. And thank goodness he was. Once I got there, they had to break my water because I was like 10 and my water was still intact. The next thing is, when you're laboring, try to position yourself in positions that will help you engage the baby and help the baby crown. I tell you this because I feel like that helped me so much when I was laboring here at home. And the second thing that I did that I honestly feel like helped me a lot was also getting into the bathtub with warm water. I feel like that helped me a lot when I was like maybe like about, thinking about it now, I was maybe like a 5, maybe to like a 7, probably even more. Like, I don't know, I just got into the bath, and yeah, like I just felt like that helped me with that pain. I felt like it just helped me relax also, and helped my labor like speed up. So for me, my contractions were getting apart like every 10 minutes. So I was like, that's not getting closer. Like, if anything, they're becoming more apart. But the contractions were, instead of 1 minute long, they were almost like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So I was watching a YouTube video, and it said that a lot of times it's because you're more like tense or stressed. And I just kind of like was watching a video on how to speed up labor, like why were my contractions were getting, like longer. And it said, and it's true, like you have to be relaxed, you have to be slept, you have to be like eating and stuff like that. I hadn't ate anything since like 11 p.m. Also, like I noticed that I was tense and not progressing because they sent me back home. I was just kind of like sleep deprived and everything. So I jumped into the tub, which that's what they recommended, just for you so you could relax. I did take like a little nap. I'm not gonna lie, maybe like a 20-30 minute nap. I don't know. I was super tired because I was so sleep deprived. I was in pain, but sleep deprived. And honestly, I feel like from there, that's what helped me like speed up. Just because I relaxed. I was actually gonna consider doing hypnobirthing. I don't know if you want to consider that, but I know a lot of women kind of like swear by it. But that could be another technique that you may want to try to consider. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, so reach out to your OB or your practitioner and see what they say. Another thing that I did was to eat dates. So I know they do recommend to eat about 6 dates a day, starting like 32 weeks or so. I started eating the dates once I reached 37 because my babies do come a little early. They tend to come early. So at 37 weeks, I started eating and I would only eat 3 to 4 dates a day because once again, I didn't want to like speed up my labor so fast. I was like, I'll let baby come whenever he wants to come, whenever he's ready. And that's what we did. The final thing, and which is that I think just kind of sent me from like maybe like a 7 or 8 to like a 10. I don't know. The day I was laboring, I was actually afraid to try the raspberry leaf tea. I had watched so many videos about it of ladies like swearing by it. Once again, I was a Vbac, so I was actually, or I was a Tolac, so I was actually gonna try to get the epidural. For the second time, I was gonna try to get the epidural for my birth because I was just so afraid that the contractions were gonna be too much and that my uterus was gonna rupture. So that was not in my plan to have an unmedicated birth. But it happened, which I'm glad it did. I got to experience that. Not a pretty experience, but it was a healing experience. Pretty, I don't know about that. But that morning, my husband, when I was in the tub, I just felt like I was gonna. I told my husband, I'm running out of time. I told my husband I was. He gave me the tea, and like 30 minutes later, I had my baby.